in the upper right. I almost said bottom right. In the upper right with that Blink Stalker all in. He is
SK Telecom T1 Party.
And in the bottom right, we've got our Terran powerhouse. He is
STX Soul Lust.
Ooh, that was a great shot there by Legend.
Yeah, he's becoming quite the artist.
He is.
I've heard whisperings that. What is this?
Look at the lights there.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
just proving our point even more.
How else would you see where you're going in space?
That's true. You could be a spaceship, you know, going at warp drive. They might just hit that.
Yeah. Those are important.
There's really so much that you can put into a map.
I know. It's
you know what I
pretty
mean?
Beautiful.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. Have you messed with the arcade at all?
No.
Arcade trailers? Because I haven't.
You know, every time I turn on Starcraft, I just want to play games or watch replays.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thing with me. So, got the barracks on the way here.
Looks like it could be a Reaper opening again as well. But yeah, this is, if Last is going to play a macro game, this is going to be a good map for like a pretty standard play, something like 1 Marine, 1 Reaper into Reactor plus Command Center, you know, and into regular play would be pretty darn good on this map.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. I doubt we're going to see the eBay planted on the low ground.
Oh yeah,
I just don't see that as a real option.
No, definitely I would.
I would actually want the Protoss to expand on this and try to take a third. I want to play a very normal game.
Yeah.
On this map.
I agree. I mean, this is the one map where you're going to have such surface area in that third base. You know, there's no real choke there. You can kind of try to make artificial chokes, but there's so many different angles you can come in from. But we'll see how that goes for him. Parting does look like he's going to be taking an expansion. You know, he hasn't taken his second gas or anything, and he's used up all his chrono, so it's not any sort of 4-gate.
This is probably, well, coming from Parting, the build that he wanted to do from the beginning in that last game, but didn't end up, was denied that. Now, of course, Parting's very good, so his follow-up was very effective.
Yeah. Well, Mothership Core on the way right after Expand. He did not even make a single unit, so
yeah,
this Reaper might get a kill or two. Maybe.
Well, let's see.
Quick
He wants to get that to go into the gas here and try to hide. And he's out. He didn't kill a single probe.
No. Good pull ways there, but it's not over yet. Last can definitely outspeed that Mothership Core. In the meantime, we do have that second command center on the way. A bunker at the top of the ramp. Playing a little bit extra safe there with that.
You know, it could also be that he thought initially, going into this, that because that all-in was so effective, the all-in that Last forced Parting into doing, he might be like, oh, well, this is actually a map that's got a lot of areas in the main you can jump into, so we're going to have to be careful here. And as you can see, Cade salvages the bunker.
Yeah.
Upon realizing, well, he's not going to do that because he has a Nexus, so.
Definitely a right call.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a robotics in the way, a very, very fast one from Parting. In fact, doing it off of just 1 Stalker and a Mothership Core, which is safe. And that's going to allow him to very quickly get an observer in his opponent's base.
Oh, he's going to get it. Ooh, shot in the air. That was sick. Some blood on the high ground, blood on the low ground.
There's blood everywhere. I have reduced violence on my PC. I don't get to see the blood. I have to look over at the
You have children?
Yeah.
My graphic settings are so low right now.
And look at this. This is kind of neat what we're seeing here. Parting being pretty greedy, but not too greedy. A lot of people have been going for things such as, you know, Double Forge plus Colossus, right? A lot of people have been opening with 3 gates, so he's actually gone down. He's going 2 gates plus Robo plus 1 Forge, which is like kind of this middle ground where he should be able to hold any aggression that comes anytime soon. But still he's getting a lot done. You know, he's getting a really quick +1 armor and getting his observer out, and we'll have 2 gateways so he can still produce enough units. I like this a lot.
Very well-rounded build.
It is. It's got his own kind of little flair and style in it.
I do like that from Parting, actually. So confident that he wouldn't go for the eBay. He didn't even make a unit. And I imagine had the eBay actually been made.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, imagine what a disaster that would be.
Oh, so painful. Mothership
like,
Core
well, we're going into game number 3 here. Uh-oh.
Oh, nice scout going down.
Oh, sick.
Well, he doesn't get to look behind. Now, this could trigger him to think that something's going on. With 2 sentries, though, you know what? No, I don't think he's going to think it's a DT drop or anything, because he didn't get a full scout off, so he could think something like that, but
yeah.
I think he's already seen enough gas units, so he's like, probably not.
Oh, okay, cool. I like that second forge time in there.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
We don't really see that very often, but I guess this is a very kind of streamlined build.
Yeah.
Of course, partying his teammate is Squirtle, probably one of the best, probably the best Protoss.
Or he was, yeah. Well, now he's with Rain, of course. So SKT1.
Rain, yeah, of course, he's so good.
Rain is probably actually the best Protoss in the world
well,
right now.
I think if you had to copy a build, yeah, now, especially in HOTS, go with Rains, especially for ladder builds. They're really safe and well-rounded.
It's the best way to get better. Is trying to play like Rain. Now, Last has actually, this is kind of an interesting build. With just 2 Raxes, he's going into a 3rd command center. And it's like made at his 3rd base. And he will be doing some harassment, but it's interesting to see that he's doing this off of 2 Raxes instead of 3, which would be a much more normal build. But he's decided that Parting can't really attack him, and he can get the same type of harassment off.
All right. Well, we got that 3rd command center. By the way, it's a gutsy move to make the command center actually at the location, not in the main. But
yeah, it can be risky, but
in this case, it's going to work.
To be honest, he has 2 watchtowers, and his Reaper was pretty active, so I think he's completely sure that it will work. Well, from Parting, we do have Blink on the way, as well as Thermal Lance, getting a lot of upgrades as well. Just kind of getting himself into that later part of the game.
Yeah, these guys are not going to really hit each other hard with anything for a little while.
Yeah.
They're putting their pieces together. They're setting up for a war later on. And that's smart because, you know, for the time being, beyond, I guess, like for instance, a simple harassment like this where he tries to kill off a pylon, maybe snipe a Colossus, there's not much more you can actually do.
Yeah. You have to, in fact, be a little bit careful with it, because if he were to lose a medevac or something right now, that could be
that could put him behind big
thing.
Time. Yeah. As you can see, defensive positions here for both of these guys.
Well, you know, look at the mini-map. This is what I really love. Look at the 2 orange dots, or the 3 orange dots that are out in front of the base of Parting, and then look at the 3 red dots that are near the base of Parting for last. They're both completely on top of scouting exactly where and when someone's coming.
All right. Observer here has a very good idea of what's going on with the Terran. It wouldn't actually hurt the Terran to scan somewhere outside of his main. It's so typical to have an Observer either outside of the Terran's main or outside of your own main.
I'm wondering if we're going to see the Hellbat style that's been getting more popular recently here from last. A lot of Terrans have been adding in Hellbats, the normal Terran versus Protoss composition, to just kind of down the usefulness of the Zealots. We don't see it yet, but he does have a reactored factory that isn't doing anything right now, and he does have that armory, of course, for 2-2, so definitely a possibility.
By the way, Thermal Lance just finished, so Protoss can cover this 3rd base a little bit easier, but again, this is probably the hardest 3rd base to hold out of all the maps that we have here at the GSL.
Yeah, I think so. I can't
off the top of my head, I can't think of another map that's...
Yeah, no,
Whirlwind's not easy, but it's nowhere near as hard as this.
Now, Rain has a lot of Blink Stalkers, so that's something he has to watch out for. Really good Observer coverage here. He's actually getting to watch that army, just barely missing with the scan. Charge is on the way, and the Templar Archive is being started. So he does have some Vikings that he's going to want to try to hit Colossus with, but with this many Blink Stalkers, I don't think that that's actually a good idea.
All right. Now he's scouting here with the Stalkers because he has Blink, as we just saw there.
Almost kills a Viking and gets away with basically no damage. Really good move. That's exactly what you want to be doing at this point in the game, is just kind of poking out. He's keeping that army right there and dealing little bits of damage to and blinking away. It's really nice.
Good. It's just shaving off some of those small parts of the army is always going to be worth it. Yeah. And now he's transferred the proper amount of probes over to this expansion.
Yep. And in the meantime, he's adding a lot of macro and getting a 2nd starport to help deal with Colossi, but also getting his Mobius reactor. So he's going to have ghosts in time for any Psy Storms that we see. But Parting may actually go for the Psy Stormless style, where you just add in some Archons and try to have like a ridiculously strong army for a little bit in the game.
All right, more gates on the way here as he's adjusting for how much more he can make here economically with a third base functioning. Now, we don't have a ton of whoa. He's got to be very careful not to lose those Stalkers, because if he loses those, the Vikings come and kill the Colossi, and then the ground army kills, Terran kills the Protoss ground army, and the game ends. So it's a very delicate thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like, those Stalkers are way too important to lose, and you know, they have Blink, so as long as he's really on top of it and doesn't do anything hastily, then the Stalkers can basically always get away.
Yep.
Well, the upgrades do continue for both players. Yeah, he is adding Archons instead of going for Psystorm. I'm really not surprised to see that. It's going to give him a lot more beef to his army. Parting's basically going... This is a very old-school style that I'm pretty sure Squirtle came up with it.
Well, it's good because with the amount of Zealots he has, when he runs in there, the Archons can try to hit the Vikings and might be patched up.
Oh, certainly, yeah. That's definitely a big part of it. You know, they're going to tank a lot, deal a lot. It's just a lot of hit points to have to deal with as well. So I like this choice by Parting, and you know what he's doing is he's going for this ridiculously beefy, good, strong upgrade army that's going to be really hard to actually kill off into the 4th base.
Yeah.
And depending on what happens, like if this battle isn't super one-sided, he'll probably get Psystorm after that.
Nice spotting there of the Observer, but that just so happened to be, between those, so... About 900 minerals scans later, that Observer does go down, so this attack needs to do a lot.
And here we go. Great EMPs are going down. Those Stalkers actually blink way too far forward, a lot of them dying. Now he is starting to target down. Look at those Archons go to work on the Vikings. That's going to keep his Colossi alive.
Beautiful time warp there to zone out those Marines and Marauders. Now on the run. And it's actually quite possible that if you look at supplies here, well, 137 to 180, Protoss can actually just remake another wave of units and probably attack the Terran and deny any more bases.
You know, this army was just way too strong for this moment in the game.
Oh my god. That is sexy.
Parting feeling completely like he's got this. That many Colossi left over.
GG.
Really, really superbly done. That was basically flawless game.
One of the harder things to do in StarCraft 2, I should say, is engage properly with the Protoss army. There's so many spells that have to be cast in a certain order that are so unforgiving.
Well, that's the funny thing about that unit composition, right? You throw up Guardian Shield and you're like, all right, let's do it.
Let's go. Well, you know, the Time Warp, though, as well.
That's
think about that. That actually
that was a nice Time Warp.
The Stalkers from being able to be hit from that Marine Marauder army and the Force Fields as well. So, looks like Last is off to a bad start here. He's going to have to win 2 more best of 3s to get out of this group, whereas Parting will only have to win 1.
That's right. Really impressed by Parting's play there. That was just, it was such a superb macro game. He did it just right. He was just safe enough at all points on that map. And I really liked his choice to skip Psystorm in that game. And as you said, you know, those Archons really helped out against the Vikings. They kept his Colossi alive during that one engagement, and that one engagement's what really mattered, because it's while he's securing that 4th base, which will allow him to produce everything at once.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of the WCS Parting that we saw, the one that won the World Series, the World Championship Series. It was so perfect. Everything was there was no moment that I can go back to. I don't know about you in those games where I'm like, well, he did this, but he could have done this. He won anyways. Yeah. Not in this series.
He's looking sharp, man. Really good play.
All right, we're going to go to a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to go to our next best of 3 here in today's GSL Code S.